Welcome, everybody, to BitBoy Crypto. As you know, this is the largest crypto channel in the entire internet world, everything. As you know, today we hit 1 million subscribers. So congratulations to Ben, BitBoy Armstrong. Huge day here at the office. So we've got a great show. Welcome to Around the Blockchain. Got some fantastic guests. We're going to talk about some great things. We got one of the top minds and most beautiful mustaches in the NFT and crypto space, CryptoStache. We've also got Kevin from Bitcoin for Beginners. Now, if you are new into crypto, he's got a great channel that'll get you through all the beginning aspects. And finally, we've got the Doge father himself. No, not Elon Musk. Matt Wallace from Final Stand. Now, Matt's channel's got the largest Dogecoin following in all the world. So, guys, if you want to follow their channels, just look down in the descriptions of the show, and there'll be links to what they got going on. Right down there. And don't forget to smash the like button. If you smash that like button, that means we know that you like us and what we're talking about. Really quick. All right, so we got some great topics we're going to talk about today. Samsung Galaxy, they are going to start adding support for third-party wallets like the Ledger Nano S and the X. Cardano, all you Cardano fanboys and girls out there, I'm sure you're very excited about the all-time high. It is pumping. And, of course, there is some crazy news coming out about Elon Musk and Dogecoin. We got some tweets. And is it going to be on Coinbase soon? I really look forward to hearing what everybody has to say about this. Now, really quick about the show, Around the Blockchain. If you will notice, there are scores that everyone has in the bottom corner of their box. If they say if they say things we like, we'll give them a point. Now, if you are in the chat and you like something that they're saying, hit a +1 in there, and if we see a bunch of those, we will just keep giving them points. Ding, ding, ding. You'll hear that Mario coin. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk blockchain wallets. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about Samsung first, okay? So CryptoStache, I'm going to ask you this question first, all right? So with the Galaxy phones now shipping with Ledger support and Samsung having a 6% market share over Apple, do you see this as a boost in interest, not only for blockchain, but for crypto in general?
I mean, yeah, I think that it was a boost for interest when they really released it. It was a big thing, like, wow, now that they're just kind of adding some extra upgrades here, I think that, it definitely puts it back in the spotlight. I'm actually kind of surprised that Apple hasn't kind of responded in any kind of way in the last year and a half, almost 2 years, since the S10 came out with that, Samsung key store inside of it, and first allowing those transactions. Now with Ledger support, I mean, that just takes it a step further, being able to interact with some of these hardware wallets, and Ledger is obviously one of the tops in the industry, so it makes a ton of sense. So I love the collaboration there. I don't know if it really puts it back in the mainstream eye too much, because it's not a huge leap forward.
Absolutely. Now, in case you didn't know, Samsung is the largest manufacturer of smartphones. They sold about 250 million products last year, of their devices, and that was in 2020. Now, when you're thinking about large-scale corporate partnerships, does this really help the rate of adoption? Kevin, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like I've seen other smartphones, if I'm not mistaken, like OnePlus and other companies add crypto support as well. And while this isn't like a huge step forward, it is like baby steps, right? And if you have a lot of these together, then it's going to be just that much easier for us to reach mass adoption. Like it can, I don't think it's going to be one big thing that takes us to mass adoption, but if it's like tiny things, everything is easily integrated. When you want to use crypto, your Samsung phone already has support for that. It just makes it that much easier for everyone to get in and for us to reach that critical mass point. And so I think this is a great step, even though it's not huge or anything. It's not going to by itself take us over the edge. It is contributing, and I'm all for that. So thank you, Samsung, for this.
Absolutely. Let's see, Matt, what do you have to say about that?
So right now it's kind of hard to use cryptocurrency broadly. That's going to get way easier into the future. You're going to be able to buy and sell things with crypto seamlessly with all these integrations. So yeah, I do think that's a good first step. There's still a lot of things to come. And that's why we're early right now on crypto.
We are definitely early. We are very early. Ben, when you're thinking about kind of the last two questions that we asked, what kind of input do you have specifically on Samsung and integrating this into their wallets with the adoption? I didn't want to skip you over. What do you got to say on that?
Well, first and foremost, we're not early to anything on this channel. We're always at least a minute late. So the fact we are early into cryptocurrency really says a lot. Crypto assets, excuse me. And I do want, before I get into talking about the Samsung things, I do have some comments on that. Right before we went on air, prices started crashing again. So, I mean, not dramatic, but a lot of people are asking about the price drop right now. Yeah, so we're back down to 49,000. Ethereum right back to $4,000. Binance Coin under 600. Cardano hanging tough, still at about $2. But I bring all that to say this isn't a topic we're going to really cover today. So I want to take this second to say, guys, we see this every Friday. Every Friday, there are futures contracts that close. I think that's what we're seeing right now. That it wasn't a ton, so I don't think we're going to see a dramatic drop. I think this will be a quick recovery. So a lot of people in the chat talking about that. I actually watch the chat over here, so I do see that. Now, guys, when it comes to Samsung, here's the thing. Ledger is not easy to use. Like, that is a fact. You really pretty much, there is like an Android app supposedly we found today. I use Apple. I don't think we have one for that. You have to use either MetaMask or you have to use Ledger Live, and none of that is extremely beginner friendly. That's why I tell everybody to buy a Ledger. It's only $59. You can get on bitboycrypto.com/deals. We've got a deal for you there. But the thing is that you're buying it to learn how to use it. Don't buy it to just put all your crypto on it, because there is a learning curve and you're going to want to know how to use this, because right now when everybody's actively trading and moving back and forth to exchanges, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have your money on a hardware wallet, but in a bear market, it does. You definitely want to have a safekeeping for a lot of your stuff. So I think this is big news because we're moving away from a desktop world. We're moving to a pretty much almost 100% mobile future. If you look at the number of mobile users that are growing compared to the number of desktop users that are shrinking, it's very dramatic. So I do think having a built-in integration for Ledger will make crypto easier, make having a hardware wallet easier, and it's more suitable for mobile users. So I do think ultimately this will have a big impact, on the overall adoption of cryptocurrency. Or crypto assets, excuse me. I don't say cryptocurrency anymore.
No, it's crypto assets. Okay, and this question, we'll just go around the square because I want everybody's take on this one. Everybody knows what bloatware is, right? When a manufacturer for the phones just put apps right. Yeah, you gotta love that, right?
Who doesn't love bloatware? Are you kidding me? When you grab that brand new device, there's a bunch of these crappy apps preloaded on. I mean, you're like, surprise, you can't get rid of them.
Right.
I thought bloatware was actually. I thought that was like after you ate some wings or had a big dinner that you eased up an extra button on your shirt, like you're bloated, bloatware.
Yeah, when you have to put your stretchy pants on, yes.
Yes,
that's your bloatware.
That's bloatware.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey Stash, why don't you start us off on that? As far as talking about bloatware and installing apps into a phone before you even buy it, do you think that these are even going to get utilized?
I mean, I've never utilized them, so it's always some sort of partnership, in an attempt for them to kind of shill whatever their service is there. And sometimes they're actually ones that people are like, hey, a lot of people actually do use this thing. Yeah. I've just found like most of the time I don't. Yeah. Most of the time I have this bloatware that I just don't use it. I don't understand it. But with the Samsung stuff, like kind of bridging what we were talking about before. The fact that it's, these things are built-in as built-in apps for the phone itself, I think that gives people a little bit more trust and comfort in them. So having like a blockchain wallet that's built in as a Samsung app actually makes a lot of sense in kind of contrast to it being this, looking like bloatware and being kind of a standalone thing. You're like, ooh, blockchain wallet, whatever it is, like, why would I want that? Click off.
And Matt, what do you think about that? Would you use it? I don't know if you're a Samsung or an Apple user.
So I'm an Apple user right now, but it wouldn't be that hard to convince me to switch to Samsung because I've not been happy with some of the things Apple's been doing. Overall, though, I don't really have that big of a problem with that as long as they're not forcing you to use them or making it integrated in a way where you can't delete it, then I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Okay. Kevin, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think what Ben said earlier was spot on. Like ledgers, Trezors, I have them. They're not the easiest to use. And so I'm not sure exactly how this Samsung app's going to work, but I would definitely try it out. Like if it's going to make things easier, just like click a button, accept, send your thing, confirm on screen rather than do like the pins, the recoveries, or whatever they make you do on screen. I'm all for that. I'd definitely try that out.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of us in the space, we've always said that. We've said it for years. You know, using crypto has to be as easy as whatever we've got right now. You got to just be able to swipe a card, press a button, hit send. If we don't make it that easy, it's going to be, you know, the learning curve is going to be that much harder. You've got older people that, you know, there are people that are getting into crypto, then getting into the space. But you just got to make it technology friendly. You got to make it user friendly for everybody. So, all right, we've talked about Samsung and stuff. Who's next? You know, like Apple, they haven't integrated anything into Apple Pay yet. You got the Google Pixel. You know, I don't believe that they have a blockchain wallet. What does everyone think is going to be the next of the big phone provider to add blockchain and crypto support technology into their apps? Kevin, let's start with you on this one.
That's a hard question. I mean, I know a lot of smaller ones have been doing it and using that to differentiate. Apple is usually like they do their own thing, right? In terms of tech and like the headphone jacks, whatever. They do their own design stuff, so they're probably not next. Google, I could see them doing it. I have a Google Pixel personally, and I'll be the first to try it out if they release something in that vein.
Oh, we got Kevin as a guinea pig. Ben, what do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say because I think that's what Kevin said. It's hard to say. I mean, Apple's the obvious answer here. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I think that's what you want me to say is Apple, and I think that is what I want to say is Apple. However, we have seen a lot of pushback from Apple on crypto, and why? Don't really know. I would surmise it's because Apple, which, you know, I would rather let Coin Bureau pass me in subscribers than use a Samsung phone or an Android. I can tell you that. So I'm still going to use an iPhone, an Apple, but I'm not a fan of what they do. It just makes my life easier to use Apple. I think the thing is that, you know, Apple loves censorship. They love control. They like being at the top. They like being exclusive, kind of all the things that crypto is against. And so for me, I think it is like a philosophical / ideological pushback from them on this. They want to be able to kick you out of the app store if they don't like your views. So, you know, crypto goes perpendicular to that instead of parallel to that. So I think that's why we're getting pushback. They don't want Bitcoin to take over. They don't want crypto to take over. They don't want things to run on blockchain, because guess what? When blockchain app stores open up, that's not only, like a competitor from a phone standpoint, but then that's a competitor from an app standpoint as well. And all of the apps that they can just kick out of their store at a whim, they can go on a decentralized platform. They can't get kicked off, and they can continue to be powerful and do well. So I think that's what we're seeing from Apple, but it makes sense from a money standpoint. It makes sense from a technology standpoint. I think they're just going to have to get to a point where crypto and blockchain is undeniable it's the future. And, you know, they're just going to have to kind of give into it.
And yeah, we're still getting louder too when it comes to stopping the censorship, because Apple should not be allowed to go in and say, all right, you cannot have this app here or that here. Let the people decide. If we want to use the app, we'll use the app. And so that's one.
But the funny thing is, Matt, I don't want to cut you off there, Matt. I want to hear what you have to say, but I want to point out the thing is they will kick you out if they disagree with your views, but they won't kick you out if you're a scam app mimicking an app like Trezor, which they've ran into several times. They won't kick you out if you're a scam, but if you got different political opinions, my God, you're gone.
And you're referring to the Parler app when you say that, correct?
I mean, there are other ones, but I mean, that's the big one. Yeah. But it's the fact that Trezor begged them for years to get rid of the scam duplicate apps. There is no Trezor app. Like, it's a hardware wallet for people who don't know. Trezor said for years they've told Apple about this problem. They won't remove it. But as soon as somebody comes in with some different political opinions, they'll yank it right out of the store, and it just shows you the hypocrisy of the whole thing.
Right, and that's why I kind of disagree. I don't think it's clear at all that Apple will be one of the next ones to do it. I think that if anybody, it's definitely going to be Google out of those kind of big producers, right? They are the antithesis kind of to Apple's closed source. They have been all about open source. That's what Android and the platform has all been about. So I think it makes sense that they push blockchain. It may not be happening as fast as it is with Samsung, but I think that Google has a much larger product spread. And so when they do something like this, they want it to be something they can roll out across the board in a lot of different ways. So I think it'll take a lot longer than something like Samsung to be able to just roll it out in their phones. So I definitely see Google as being a strong supporter, as being one of the next big ones to come through. And Apple's they're going to be left in the dust, man. That's what's going to come down to. They're not going to be able to support these things, like you said. There's just a lot of things that go against it. So
Go ahead, Matt. Let's hear what you got to say.
So at some point, they're going to have to come on board. They can't just say, all right, you guys can play over there. We're going to stay over here with our own toys forever.
No, they're like, we're done. Never.
I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Right, exactly. Like I retire.
Taking my Apple and I'm going home. That's what they can't do that forever. At some point, the pressure will build. Yeah. Other apps are going to come out.
They will.
I think we could actually see billionaires like Elon Musk who are sick and tired of this. What's been going on with too much control in one place, too much centralized control. They're just going to say, all right, I'll make my own internet. He's already doing that with satellites. I'll make my own phone. At some point, we'll see that happening. And I think a lot of people are going to make this switch when it does happen.
He did delete his Facebook after all. He was like, I'm done with Facebook, right? He deleted his profile.
I mean, I wouldn't consider that a big move, but hey, all right, give him a little credit.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic. I know there's a couple of you in this group right here that are huge fans of this particular project. Cardano recently hit an all-time high, just touching a little bit over $2. It's currently sitting at the fifth largest crypto. It's done about a 10x this year alone, about 100x, since inception. I think if you got in at 2 cents, which I think some of you might have, it's almost 100x since then. Let me ask Matt, do you think Cardano is going to get $5 this year or this cycle? If you think so, I'd like to know when.
I would say probably around the 40% chance of that, just because there's so many different factors involved. Right now it's sitting at around 180, I believe. Is that correct? So 180, in order to get to $5, we'd have to see it more than double from where it is. And I love Cardano. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. I think the way it works with the fee structure, the way it is put together, smart contracts coming, a good team behind it. Charles can be annoying at times with some of the things he says, but besides that, I do think it absolutely has the potential to be at $5 by the end of the year. Yeah.
Great. Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't do like price targets as much, but I think I have a little bit of Cardano. I think it's promising, but to be honest, the kind of Ethereum competitor I've been most looking into lately is Solana. And so I've been diving into that ecosystem a lot. And I know this is not answering your question, but that is what I'm excited about and what I'm spending most of my time and investments into.
Perfect. I like the way that one sounds. I'm going to give you a point for that because I forgot to hit it. And then Matt also, I forgot I was having trouble with the chat here, so I needed to give you 2 extra additional points, so you got those in your little bucket there. Ben, talk to me about Cardano. What do you think on the $5 target, and do you think it's going to happen this year?
Oh yeah, I mean easy. $5 for Cardano this year is like extremely simple. Like, I mean, if we're talking about Bitcoin going to $300,000, Ethereum going to 15 to 20, like Cardano to 5 is a breeze. Question is, how much higher can it go? Can it go, my target has been all year somewhere between $8 and $10. I mean, for the last, year and a half, that's been my target. Somewhere between $8 and $10. Depends on how much momentum this bull run gets. But I tell you what, if something's going on behind the scenes between Cardano and Tesla, like some people are speculating about, that could be absolutely huge. just if Charles and Elon were to talk, or were to, have some kind of, meeting of the minds, if you will, or if we find out someone from Cardano talks to Elon Musk, that could be absolutely huge, because, obviously Dogecoin, as Matt believes, is the future currency of the world. It's not like a smart contract platform compared to Ethereum or Cardano, at least at this point. What's that?
Smart contracts are coming with that. I will say as well, there's Tesla's going to do Cardano. After Charles came out and said like the personal hateful things against Dogecoin, honestly, I think Tesla would have potentially done it. I think Tesla is looking at Cardano, XRP, Dogecoin as three they're looking at toward the top there, because Elon Musk specifically said less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy consumption, and those three all qualify there. Ethereum, for example, doesn't right now. It will probably in the future after the network is switched over. But for now, I don't think Cardano at any point will be the only one Tesla does. They're going to do most likely Dogecoin first.
I gotta say, Ben, to your point, really quick, just to be a fly on the wall in a meeting between Elon Musk and Charles Hoskinson would just be a very interesting conversation, to say the least.
Yeah, I agree.
Do they know each other? I heard that they knew each other like before.
There's a picture of them together, so I mean, they certainly, they have met before, and you got to know, I mean, they're both billionaires. Charles is a billionaire as well, so he's pretty well connected. So billionaires tend to talk to other billionaires. That's who they tend to talk to. So we'll see what happens. I don't know anything that's going to happen for sure there, but we saw Cardano Foundation tweeting about it, potential. So we'll see. But I think that if something like that were to happen, then BJ wants me to remind everyone, micro lending for Cardano is coming. That's what he wants me to tell you guys over and over every time he types it up on the screen. But the thing is, that can make Cardano explode even further. Like, let's just say in a hypothetical situation that Tesla were to say, you know what, we're going to test out, Cardano, instead of Bitcoin, or just come out favorably talking about it from an environmental standpoint, we'd see way more outrageous things to Cardano than we've seen with Dogecoin, I think.
Absolutely, and I want to get into the energy narrative next, but Stash, really quick, what do you think about the $5 Cardano target? Just before we move on.
This is what I'm thinking. I see the market with a good target being about double where we stand about right now. So Bitcoin at 100,000, which would put Cardano ADA just shy of that $5 mark. I think that it's going to try. I don't think it's going to hit it this year.
Ooh, we always like when there's a little bit of a confliction. Everybody's got a different opinion. I love that.
A contrarian view. Yeah, gotta love it.
There we go. You know what, Kevin? There's a point for you.
I think that it's possible here in the near future. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think that this bull run is going to kind of extend a lot longer than we think. And so this, it's not going to be a quick spike up at the end of the year like a lot of times we've seen. I think we're going to see it kind of go all the way into next year, and it kind of be more of a slower climb.
All right. With that being said, do you think that the narrative concerning energy is long-term, or do you think green energy is going to solve all of this? Shay.
This is a short-term narrative, and we've seen that this is not the first time that Bitcoin has been up against this. Guys, you act like this is the first time anyone's like, oh, what? There's environmental concerns, and we've seen it over and over again. And I think Bitcoin has proven many times over that there is value being produced here. And, in my opinion, I do think Bitcoin actually does drive renewable energy consumption and new ways of optimizing the rate that we can extract power with these renewables, because it makes sense, right? It makes sense that miners are helping to push that forefront, because if you can get more yield from renewable sources, you're going to end up being able to mine a lot more Bitcoin. And I think that's a great motivation for any corporation.
Absolutely. Kevin, you got anything to add on that one?
No, I think he's totally right, but I'm just really surprised at how the public reacted to Elon's flip-flop per se. Like, people used to worship him, and a lot of Tesla fans are also Bitcoin fans. There's a lot of overlap, right? So people were just hating on him after he caused a dump. They're like, Elon rug pulled us. First it was Vitalik, and then Elon rug pulled us, and then people were so mad that everyone read his comments It was crazy. So it was quite interesting just to see how he changed his mind and then how that whole like public narrative played out. That was really fascinating for me to dive into.
Absolutely. Matt, what do you think about how, you're seeing people like this and someone in a position like Elon Musk, just flip-flop a position and the way that they, kind of stand, or at least the way that they communicate to their audience?
So I will say, first off, I actually have on my Twitter the top comment under that big tweet, and it says Dogecoin is the cryptocurrency of Earth, or so something along those lines, and basically just talking about that. And so oftentimes you'll see, I'll get my tweets toward the top when I talk about Dogecoin, because Elon has way more support when it comes to Doge than he does with Bitcoin, especially on Twitter. And so you start to take that into account. I think all of this is pushing towards Elon Musk is going to announce, he's working with the Dogecoin devs right now. I was talking to Ross, the lead dev, last night. He's working with them, talking to them about ways to make Dogecoin better. His plan is to turn Dogecoin into the cryptocurrency he uses for all of his projects, from Tesla to going to space. And so that's, I think, why he's really, truly leaving Bitcoin, because nothing changed. I mean, the truth is, that's a ridiculous reason. It's not bad for the environment compared to the current systems, even close to. So I don't think that's the real reason. I think the real reason is they're switching to Dogecoin.
I mean, I think it. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that as being the real reason. There's no way that that's the reason why he's switching. I think this is more of a PR thing. I don't think it comes down to him really thinking like, hey, Doge is better. Doge is more. I like Doge, but when it comes down to like code and all these things, it's still a proof of work coin, and it's still kind of like an outdated Bitcoin when it comes down to it. So I mean, I think that he wants to get more involved in the game in general. And he's definitely, it's weird to see some of these tweets, man. It definitely seems like he is trying to move the market in some sort of weird way, like I don't know. It is odd to see. I'm not over hating on him. I'm still a Tesla and Musk fanboy, I would say, but yeah, definitely weird moves, definitely weird tweets.
I like what
people were tweeting. Some people were tweeting that Elon wrecked their leveraged longs. They're like, Elon, you liquidated me. What the heck?
It has to happen, though. It has to happen. If there's too many leveraged longs out there or too many short,
exactly.
Something's gonna come along and want to wreck them. It's just kind of the nature of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Stash, you brought up a good point about proof of work, and with Alonzo coming out, and you got London coming out later this year. Hopefully, we all hope. Really, it's kind of make it or break it for those two projects, for those forks to come out. But does that mean, with those being proof of stake, is proof of work dead? Ben, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, if Bitcoin doesn't change away from, someone said I'm vibrating with frustration. I'm not vibrating with frustration. I'm actually having a good time. It's been a long day. We had a big party, and yeah, everything's good. We're doing great today. I do want to say, like, as far as what Matt was saying about Dogecoin, Elon Musk, which are Tesla, and Stash said, like, no, that's definitely not what's happening. Here's the real truth, guys. The real truth is none of us on this panel have any idea what Elon Musk is doing.
We have no damn clue. We have no clue.
We have no clue.
I was like, I don't get it, man. It's so
He
weird.
could be switching out Dogecoin. Elon Musk literally could be gearing up to try to make a run for Dogecoin to pass Bitcoin. Like, I'm not even kidding. He could. It's possible. We're not inside this man's head. No one understands him. No one knows what the heck he's doing. Is it a master plan? Is he just strictly trolling? No, nobody knows. But as far as proof of work goes, the narrative of it's bad for the environment is going to have to come to some kind of conclusion. Whether it is coming up with, much better solutions, like, I don't know, a Tesla Bitcoin mining factory that's only ran with clean energy, or only ran with clean energy, whatever it is, whatever the narrative is, something's going to have to happen. Proof of work is certainly dead. I mean, we won't see any more proof of work projects probably in the future, at least in the current format. And I really believe that down the line, Bitcoin is going to have to switch over to proof of stake. I don't care how secure it is, and I don't care how logical the narrative is that it's bad for the environment or illogical. The public outcry will get too large. I mean, look, the climate change is dominating everything that happens politically in our world right now, whether it's right or wrong or overblown. that doesn't matter. All that matters is what people believe about it. So that's kind of how I see things shaping out there.
Cool.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean,
go
they
ahead.
need something. They have to have something that is they can use as a talking point against Bitcoin, because for the longest time it was like, but it's used by terrorists and that's why it's bad.
Yeah.
And then, so there's always got to be something that they can use to say this is why it's bad. And I mean, I think that's every kind of investment vehicle out there. There's some way that you can go and say, okay, well, here is why, everything that you're doing, and then people, like a lot of people fought back against Tesla saying, well, what about how have you ever looked at how lithium mines work there, Elon?
Yeah.
Those also not very good for the environment. So I think that it's one of those things where you always have to have something. And this is one of those things that creeps up with Bitcoin every once in a while. And like I said, I'm very firm in the case that I think that really Bitcoin mining will help to push renewable energy to a maximum, because what the potential for profit with using renewables for Bitcoin mining.
Absolutely. Great points, guys, all around on that. Let's move to the last topic of the day, and it's something kind of we've been talking a little bit of, for the last little while, and this is about Doge and Elon. Obviously everybody's heard and saw the tweets that came out today, but there was also an announcement, and I had touched on this right in the beginning of the show, that Doge could get listed on Coinbase. I don't understand why or how that would even be possible, and that's what I'm going to leave this up to the professionals to explain this and, give me your position. But, with the announcement of Coinbase possibly listing Doge in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and Elon's working with developers of Doge, we don't even really know what those people are or who they do, and it being up 45% today. And Matt, I'm going to let you go last on this only because I know this is like your wheelhouse and you're down a few points. So I'm going to give you the chance to come back from the ashes and rise up. But I'm going to start with Stash. Is this, when you think about all this and some of the timing of these tweets and everything coming out, is this coordinated news?
Now that is some conspiracy theory shit right there. The Elon conspiring with Novogratz over there at Coinbase, and so they have some sort of weird thing going on with the Doge devs, and they're all in bed together. Like, I mean, I love the fact that could be turned into a movie. It's just itself. But no, I don't. I think that Coinbase is just, they see the dollar signs, guys, and they're like, hey, we want some of that Doge love and that Doge action. And I think Coinbase has realized that, with so many new exchanges coming on board and so many new coins coming out there and then having these crazy meteoric rises, right, really quickly, they're missing the boat on so much money because of their process of how they add new coins. It's very slow. And they've talked about increasing how much they're going to do it. And now it's just kind of like, all right, floodgates open, everyone go, and so now they're just like, we'll throw anything up there, So I don't know. It's an interesting theory, but I don't know that they're connected. I do think that people are taking Doge more seriously, even though it's really its intention to be a meme coin. So but I love it. I think it's great that people are starting to really see the power of community, because that's really what a meme coin is doing. It's this connecting community power that Doge has, and you have to respect that. You have to respect it.
Awesome. All right. So in his tweet, Elon was talking about how, he wants it to provide a system transaction efficiency, right? So when you think about that, Kevin, I'm going to bring this one to you. Do you think Doge will ever be used to buy a cup of coffee either on Earth, the moon, or Mars?
I mean, it could be, right? It's really fast and cheap fees, fast. It definitely could, but also, I really wanted to say something about the Coinbase side, because in my channel, we've talked about Coinbase stock a lot too, and that's dropped a lot, right? It started out first day a high of like 430 almost, and dropped to 250. That's a huge drop. And I was saying, like, they were so slow to list Doge, right? They're still in the works of listing Doge. And if you want to get all nerdy with it, they got earnings a few days ago, and they about hit expectations. But imagine if they sold Doge early, they would have gotten like tens or hundreds of millions more of like revenue straight from all the retail folks trading Doge on Coinbase. They could have crushed earnings, and their stock maybe wouldn't be as low as it was now. So I think they made a huge mistake. Like 6 months ago, if you looked at where you could buy Doge, like Robinhood, not a lot of places, but then crypto.com, Kraken, Gemini, everyone added Doge. Not Coinbase though, so they really screwed up. Everyone was seeing the dollar signs, like you said, but they were slacking, and their stock price is still not high because of that.
Ben,
Yep.
really quick, Ben,
Spot on.
about this. Stash, do you have something to say?
No, I was just saying that's spot on. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay, cool.
they're behind.
Ben, what do you think about a cup of coffee on the moon?
I'll take a bang. I'll prefer a bang instead. If I can get banged on the moon,
Okay.
I mean a bang on the. If I can get a bang on the moon, let me tell y'all.
That's
Okay,
that's
so-
an epic
all right.
product placement right there, man.
So
Epic
if
product placement.
all right, so
Of
we're
the
gonna
bang
put a
stuff.
vending machine on Mars that takes Dogecoin that does nothing but sour head bangs. Are you going on that
Yeah.
mission?
Yeah, I'm going on that mission to get. Okay, I'm going to stop. I was about to go way too far with that. My wife was going to be mad at me. Listen, guys, love you, honey. Okay, listen. Here's what I want to say about this whole thing. And yeah, I definitely think you can buy a cup of coffee with Doge one day. Sure, why not? It actually makes a lot more sense to spend Doge than to spend Bitcoin, right? Doge's or Bitcoin's number one value proposition. It goes up in value. You know, that's what everybody knows is digital gold. Doge's number one proposition value, Elon Musk tweets about it, you know, so it makes a lot more sense to, you know, talk or to spend Doge and to spend Bitcoin. But I want to give you guys an interesting point on Coinbase here, which is earlier this week, we were looking at XRP story, okay, and about the SEC lawsuit. And basically what came out is the SEC told exchanges, this was when Femex decided to relist XRP. The SEC came out and said, whether or not the XRP sale is deemed to be illegal or not, they're not going to punish exchanges that allow trading of XRP. That's why we're seeing XRP coming back. Well, basically, what does that mean? That means that all of this regulatory mumbo jumbo that Coinbase has been going through to make sure that every single coin that they list is not going to end up being deemed a security, that negates all of that. What's the point? If they said, yeah, even if XRP was a token sale, you're not going to get in trouble, why wouldn't they just list everything? You know,
list
so
every
I
shit
think
coin you possibly can.
list everyone.
Get 'em all-
Shiba
get
heading to
every one of 'em on there who
Coinbase.
can't get floodgates open.
Oh,
please.
no. They're gonna be
Charitable,
like a Binance.
unruggable,
Grab your
That's
charitable,
what I said.
unruggable networking token coming to
Unruggable,
Coinbase.
Yeah, and that's why I said the floodgates are open, guys. The floodgates are open
Yeah.
now.
grab
The
your toilet,
floodgates. Yeah.
grab all
Oh,
that
God.
toilet paper because the shit coins
This
are
is
in
going
town.
off the rails.
All right. Yeah. Well, okay. So, Matt, you are about 5 points down. I'm going to give you a chance to bring it back, like I said. Dogecoin is your jam. Let's hear what you have to say about all of this, about Elon Musk, about going to the moon, about being the crypto asset of the future. Let's see what you
Yeah,
got.
it's time to get to 69 points right now. I think inevitable with what I'm about to say here. You brought in the right guy. I got some great insight when it comes to this. I actually posted this video. This is 3 weeks ago, where I show. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of hard because
That looks like you right now.
It's literally you right now. You
Oh,
just took that screenshot 5 seconds
I
ago.
don't know if you can see that, but I actually showed this is the code work behind being added to Coinbase. So I posted that ahead of time on my channel talking about that. They've been working with the devs to actually integrate it for a little bit now. It's taking work just because it takes time and energy and effort. But Ross, who is the lead developer of Dogecoin, extremely smart dude. He's working on smart contracts with Doge. There's over a dozen different people that are mainly on Dogecoin, with dozens more that come in for different parts of the project. They are paid through donations, generally speaking, a pool of that. And so there's a lot of smart people working on Doge. It actually has, in my opinion, a way better team behind it than Cardano. The fees are already low. Yes, there's this narrative around it. It's a meme coin. And of course, Stash was talking about that a little bit. Yes, that narrative is true, but that's not even close to the full picture. It was based off of Litecoin. It has so many positive things behind it that people don't even realize when it comes to its functionality as a code. There's a reason right now it's number 4 in the world, and it's going to be number 1 one day. Elon Musk is going to make sure of that. He's not just working with the Dogecoin devs. Yes, he's doing that. He's also sending it to the moon. He's putting satellites in space. He's going to potentially use his full network of internet service around the entire globe to make Dogecoin transactions free to use anywhere for anyone in the globe, just to make the world a better place. So all these things he's doing. He even offered money to the Dogecoin devs, and they turned it down just to instead get his brain power. He's working on it with his brain. He's giving them solutions. He's helping. He's using some of the engineers he works with. So there's so much that's going to happen with Dogecoin, and there's no reason Dogecoin and Ethereum can't be at the top 1 and 2 spots in the future. I like Ethereum a lot too. I like Dogecoin. They're going to pass Bitcoin at some point.
All right.
Can I ask Matt something?
Never gonna happen.
Can I ask
Kevin.
Matt something about? Yeah,
Absolutely.
hey, can you Matt, if you talk to Elon, can you ask him and the devs to change the inflation rate? If it's lower, I'd be down to buy some.
Yeah. Maybe we could get a cap on it.
If
at
it's
some
if
point.
it's
Maybe
lower, then
maybe
I'd
we
be
could
down to
put
buy
that in with the
some.
next
No
round of
lie.
smart contracts.
No joke.
So there's
I'd be down
two
to buy
things
some.
that there's $5 billion that can be mined. I get the narrative around. I know like it's supposed to be a joke, and a lot of people are like, okay, well it still is. But at some point, people have to realize Ethereum has a very similar structure to it. There's a lot of coins out there that I'm sure you're investing in that have similar structures where you have a certain amount that can be mined a year. Dogecoin is actually less in terms of percentage than a lot of those that are currently out there. 5 billion a year that can be mined, 129 billion in circulation. So that's the biggest thing to think about there. It'll take more than 25 years for the amount in circulation to double. And I've been talking about it since it was at less than half a penny. And people are still making that same argument then. People laughing a lot more then than they are now. But so you look at that, you also start to realize too, I believe Elon at some point, he's going to use his massive resources to start mining Dogecoin with a very, very massive scale and then burn those tokens. So at some point it'll be irrelevant that 5 billion can be mined a year because most of those will end up being mined by Elon through his system and then burned afterwards. I think that's why he's leaving hints about different satellites. That's why he tweeted out Doge for Dogecoin. That's why he's working with the developers. He wants to make the world a better, cleaner, greener place through Dogecoin and through other cryptocurrencies, taking away the power from the current systems. So you can underrate Dogecoin if you want. You can continue to doubt it, but the stats are not on your side with that.
Well,
I think that just the last thing I want to say is I just think that with Dogecoin, I think there's something that we're all forgetting about, which is, if you take the cumulative amount of methane that comes from dogs and you talk about that, effect on the environment, I don't know if that comes out and people talk about that, Elon may have to turn on it. I don't know.
You know what? I think you just
out there, man. They're going to go.
I'm switching over to maybe SafeMoon or something.
Oh God. Okay. All right.
Look how quickly he jumped in. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to SafeMoon, guys." Shiba.
Okay. Guys, this was a fantastic conversation today. I love everyone's perspectives and what you had to say and everything you brought to the table. Thank you so much, Matt, Kevin, Stash, Ben, everybody. But with that said, Kevin, well, I guess you and Stash might have tied, but I think you actually I missed one ding for you, 1 point for you. So, Kevin, you get the win for today. Why don't you leave us out? Hey, man, sorry. I'll fight you in Miami. Don't you worry, Kevin. Why don't you send us out today with about 30 seconds of your final thoughts on everything we talked about, or anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Hey, we got rug pulled by Elon, Vitalik, CZ, whatever. But I say buy the dip. I've been buying the dip. Have a little bit dry powder left, so hopefully it stays down for a little bit. Congrats on you and your team, Justin, Ben, on reaching 1 million. It was great to have Stash and Matt here too. Always fun to talk about Doge and Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else. So hope you all have a great weekend.
Great. It was a great conversation on a Friday afternoon with a bunch of great guys. I had a great time. If you had a great time listening to this show, make sure that you hit that like button, smash it, smash it, smash it. Drop us comments below if there's anyone that you want to see, if there's topics you want us to talk about. Remember, social media handles, YouTube channels are down below in the description for all these guys. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. This has been Around the Blockchain. J-Chain signing off. See you next time.